this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The notorious Viper Island. We are back, baby! The rumors of Viper Island's demise were greatly exaggerated. Welcome to Season 4 of the most watched G.I. Joe podcast and television show worldwide. We know you've got questions about where we've been and what happened. We'll address all of that in today's episode, so stay tuned. We know you've missed us, and we've missed you too. We've got so much in store for you, including all of the latest G.I. Joe news and exclusive insights. Get ready for a new era of Viper Island. We're back and better than ever. So let's dive into today's show and kick things off with some brand new updates. In today's episode, we're going to catch you up to date on G.I. Joe Classified for the rest of the summer. We have news on convention exclusives and unannounced figures. We will also share with you exclusive insight from the sculptor of several brand new classified figures. If you want to know brand new details straight from one of the people who's helping create the classified series figures, then stick around. We'll tell you what's happening with a new G.I. Joe movie. We'll also take a look at some G.I. Joe HasLab theories and share what we know. Folks, watch until the end. This episode is absolutely loaded. First up, the 2024 San Diego Comic-Con will take place from July 25th to the 28th. At this year's event, there will be a G.I. Joe live panel event. The new G.I. Joe HasLab project will also be revealed during Comic-Con. There will be new reveals and pre-orders. As revealed by IGN, this year's convention exclusive is the Once a Man Cobra Commander. Raptor was incorrectly rumored to be the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, with Starduster as this year's PulseCon exclusive. For the time being, we can rule out Raptor as a convention exclusive, and we're going to do the same with Starduster as well, since it appears that information was wrong. We now believe that Raptor and Starduster will just be Hasbro Pulse exclusives. According to what we've learned from Hasbro, Saw Viper and Dial Tone will both be made available for pre-orders during the event, and we can assume for now that will also be the case with Nemesis Immortal, which Hasbro recently revealed. Next, let's talk about the exclusive Once a Man Cobra Commander inspired by G.I. Joe the movie. It's housed inside a decorative box with detailed G.I. Joe the movie artwork. The image includes Cobra Commander in the center, a menacing Globulus off to the side, Nemesis Immortal appears flying on the right side, and beneath Cobra Commander are Falcon to the left and Roadblock to the right. This is a brand new Falcon with a more intense look. Odds are, this is the Night Force Falcon. He still has the same backpack with a radio antenna. And just like in G.I. Joe the movie, this shows Roadblock carrying the snake version of Cobra Commander who's wrapped around Roadblock's torso. This artwork strongly hints at Globulus joining the line soon as well. Included with Cobra Commander are the following: the figure with the classic Cobra Commander helmet and faceplate, a separate faceplate, his serpent head sculpt, a snake version of Cobra Commander with movable arms, and a bendable snake body which can be wrapped around other figures. And it also includes the expected reuse of all the standard hands and weapons that we've seen before. This time, Cobra Commander's uniform has been torn open, revealing his snake-scale torso and arms. His pants are also torn near his boots. If you're into this Cobra Commander, tell us in the comments below. As for my own thoughts, it's a great fit for a convention exclusive, because not everyone is into the fantasy world of Cobra Law. Here on Viper Island, we've long maintained that exclusives should not be main characters, but rather memorable one-offs, repaints, or special editions. And that's exactly what Once a Man Cobra Commander is. That said, I'm more impressed by the packaging and the artwork than the figure itself. But that shouldn't take anything away from the figure. This is a highly detailed sculpt with scales galore, torn clothing, and all the accessories one would expect this to have. So it hits all the marks for anyone who's a fan of the movie or who wants a snake version of Cobra Commander. I'm a huge fan of the classic look that's captured by the retro card Cobra Commander. So this one, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, seems unnecessary for me, and I'm very likely going to skip this figure. The snake figure itself is the highlight for the convention exclusive. The arms only move at the shoulders, so the articulation is fairly basic. The mouth is sculpted open, it doesn't appear that it can close. There's a torso cut for articulation in the middle of the body, and the extra faceplate is cracked. In the packaging artwork, Globulus is in the background riding on an alien pod, which will likely be included with Globulus for Classified. It's not clear when Globulus will be revealed or released, but let's keep an eye out for him at this year's PulseCon. Historically speaking, the G.I. Joe exclusives for the San Diego Comic-Con and PulseCon have been linked to each other in recent years. This includes Dr. Mindbender and Serpentor in 2022, and Chuckles and the Crimson Strike Team in 2023. So for 2024, the Once-a-Man Cobra Commander and Globulus make a lot of sense as a pair. And they make even more sense with the release of Nemesis Immortal as well. The main issue which will annoy many collectors is how Hasbro will handle the pre-orders for Once-a-Man Cobra Commander. They will be using a very unpopular lottery system. It opens on July 8th. In order for a chance at pre-ordering this figure, you'll first need to submit an entry into the lottery on July 8th, and then be selected as one of the winners who are eligible for the pre-orders. This will be made available for in-person purchase at San Diego Comic-Con. Select quantities will be made available on Hasbro Pulse as well, but it's not clear how many. The last time Hasbro tried something like this was with the 2022 Dr. Mindbender exclusive, except the pre-order links for that were shared pretty freely. Even then, many collectors still had a difficult time trying to order Dr. Mindbender. This year's rollout for Cobra Commander will be even more difficult due to the lottery system. So if you're interested, you need to know about the lottery and then make sure that you enter it on July 8th. In the meantime, let us know your thoughts on how Hasbro is choosing to handle pre-orders for convention exclusives. Are you fine with this, or are you frustrated at Hasbro for making collectors jump through unnecessary hoops to get products that you're interested in? There will be fans on both sides of the fence on this issue, so sound off in the comments and let us know which camp you're in. Next, over to the G.I. Joe comics. Courtesy of Skybound Comics and the Energon universe, we have our first clear look at what Mercer is going to look like. We have reason to believe that the Cobra version of Mercer may be on the way for G.I. Joe Classified as well, and that it will be based on the Skybound Comics version of Mercer. The new G.I. Joe series will debut with issue number 1 in November 2024. We've told you before that Mercer will be very big and that he'll tower over most other characters, and that's now very evident from this image. Even just looking at his build, his biceps are bigger than Cobra Commander's head, and by quite a bit. This is still a muted look for Mercer, and that makes sense given his role as a Cobra Viper. And now we head over to the Walmart Collector Con. The next Walmart Collector Con will take place on July 25th to the 26th. As we told you about in our last episode, we're expecting the Night Force Falcon and Heart Wrencher 2-pack to be revealed, and possibly also a 2-pack of the Night Force Steel Corps Troopers. Next, according to a Collider interview with Transformers producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, the next Transformers movie will not be a straight-up crossover with G.I. Joe. Rather, only 2 to 3 G.I. Joe characters will appear in the movie, so this will still primarily be a movie about Transformers. The big question is, which 2 to 3 G.I. Joe characters will appear in the film? Duke and Scarlet are always obvious guesses. General Hawk also makes sense. If there's a specific Joe character that you think would make sense, or even just a character that you really want to see on the big screen, post your ideas in the comments below. For those who are not familiar, Transformers Rise of the Beasts had a teaser at the end of the movie which revealed that G.I. Joe was working in coordination with secret government forces. So this will be a continuation of that storyline. Next, there's a new 6-inch Snake Eyes figure. This is the 1/12 Collective Snake Eyes Commando Edition. He wears a turtleneck under a commando chest harness, multiple straps, a utility belt featuring a knife holster, and a crossbody satchel bag that can store his assorted grenades. Snake Eyes has a wide variety of accessories including a knife, 3 handguns, 2 machine guns, a submachine gun, 4 grenades, a C4 explosive, and much more. The commando harness, gun holster, and thigh strap are all removable. And this also comes with a display base with a logo, and an adjustable display post as well. And now on to some brand new news about the 60th anniversary line. We've been told that the upcoming Action Marine Sniper will be a female figure, and we've also been told that the Action Pilot Halo Jumper will be a male figure, and it will include a working parachute. The Halo Jumper's parachute will come in handy for those who bought the Dragonfly, because at the time of filming, Night Force Ripcord does not include a parachute, but his backpack is designed to contain one, and Night Force Crazy Legs does not include one either. No word just yet on why Hasbro stopped short with the Night Force Ripcord and Crazy Legs as it relates to not giving them parachutes. If this should change, we'll let you know. In terms of the Action Marine Sniper, we don't know yet, but it's possible that this will have reuse of Night Force Shooter. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about these two figures. Next, in our last episode, we took a deep dive into the G.I. Joe Classified Saw Viper, one of my most anticipated releases. We bring you first-hand information and details as often as possible. That's why we reached out to the sculptor of Saw Viper, Dan Mitchell, to bring you first-hand details and insight. Saw Viper has a great-looking helmet. Together, Hasbro's design team and Dan crushed this. But what's underneath that helmet? Is it a head sculpt or a mask? Here's what Dan told us. Saw Viper is definitely more of a troop builder. It does have a balaclava type mask with a designed headset type thing too, and then the helmet fits over it. It is an all new sculpt. That's brand new insight, and I like that this will be a masked figure. So this confirms it, Saw Viper does not have an unmasked head sculpt. This is intended to be a troop builder, and his balaclava head sculpt has a headset device sculpted into the side right beside the mouth. Let us know if you're even more interested in Saw Viper now. If you are, hit the like button. I personally can't wait for this figure. These bad boys are going to be showstoppers. Now Dan is a very talented sculptor, easily one of the best on the planet as we speak. And in case you're not familiar, he has sculpted the legendary Marvel Legends Cyborg Spider-Woman. Just a gnarly beast of a figure. We don't collect Marvel figures, but anytime we've seen this in a store, we always stop and check it out. For G.I. Joe Classified, Dan has also sculpted the impressively detailed head sculpts for both Televiper and the Steel Corps Troopers, two of the most popular troop builder head sculpts that we've seen over the last year. And he's also done Storm Shadow version 2. We asked Dan what it was like to work on the badass Saw Viper, and here's what he told us. In terms of fun, compared to other classifieds I've sculpted, the experience of working on Saw Viper was probably above average, purely because I got to work on the majority of the figure. I find the reuse of molds an interesting aspect of toy manufacturing. It's cool to get creative and find that balance between new and old parts to make a character. But as a sculptor, I also like saying, hey, I sculpted that, without a bunch of caveats. To that point, Dan said 90% of Saw Viper's parts and pieces are brand new to Classified, and we just learned from him that this includes the head sculpt in addition to Saw Viper's awesome helmet. The only reuse here is the hands, feet, and the inner torso piece under all that armor, and that's become standard with most figures. So overall, this will be a fresh and exciting new addition to the line. Historically speaking, Saw Viper carries great significance in G.I. Joe lore. He single-handedly eliminated some key Joes. Big thanks to Dan for sharing with us some insight into the G.I. Joe Classified Saw Viper. You can follow him on Instagram. Now let's move over to Storm Shadow version 2. According to Dan, who also sculpted this figure for Classified, the Storm Shadow version 2 that he sculpted and turned into Hasbro was much closer to the 1988 style than the final version we are now getting. In terms of what was different, there was no bulky commando utility belt across Storm Shadow's midsection. That was added after the fact by Lenny and the design team. According to Dan, quite a few changes were made after the fact, but they're all minor tweaks. So we can officially confirm that the vintage-style Storm Shadow version 2 from 1988 was sculpted and created. It was the base of the figure that's now been made for Classified, and then a few things were slightly changed after the fact. We maintain that Hasbro's design team made these changes for a reason. This gives them the option of releasing the vintage 1988 style in the retro line. So we do have confirmation here that the retro figure of Storm Shadow that everyone wants was created and does exist. And this would be simple for Hasbro. It would just need a warm gray camo instead of the jet black on this one. And of course, it would not include any of the unnecessary belts and loincloth that a lot of fans are just not thrilled about. And again, let's re-emphasize that Storm Shadow version 2 is a really good action figure. It just wasn't the 1988 style that we were all expecting. But by this point of the line, we should now anticipate that the retro line is where vintage style will go, and the Classified series will continue to feature modern updates on these retro styles. There's something for everyone. Either way, Storm Shadow version 2 is excellently sculpted, and it's an outstanding looking figure. If you want to support the show and continue to get brand new insight first, hit the like and subscribe buttons and join the largest G.I. Joe community on the planet. Next over to Retro Cobra Commander. In a nostalgic nod to the 80s animated series G.I. Joe A Real American Hero, the new Retro Cobra Commander for the G.I. Joe Classified series is a collector's dream. Hasbro's hit the sweet spot with this cartoon-accurate figure, capturing the essence of everyone's favorite power-hungry villain. The star of the show here, a shiny vac metal mask plate that glistens with the malevolent charm Cobra Commander exudes. This release is not just a toy, it's a time machine that transports fans back to Saturday mornings spent glued to the TV. From the intricate detailing of his uniform to the menacing yet somehow endearing appearance, this figure is a masterpiece for the G.I. Joe Classified series. It's clear to anyone why this figure is an instant fan favorite. Perfect in every way, the Retro Cobra Commander is a very welcome addition to the line. If you're a fan of the G.I. Joe A Real American Hero cartoon series, this is the Cobra Commander you'll want for your collection. Then over to the Retro Cobra Trooper. This is a brighter blue than the earlier iterations, and he comes with a classic Cobra SMG, a pistol with a silencer, and a long-range sniper rifle from Spirit. Then over to Retro Stalker. Tony from the G.I. Joe team said that they replicated the original vintage camo look with this Stalker. It's a very clean look. He has camo from head to toe, even on his beret, although he does have the same exact web gear, knife, and sidearm as the Cobra Trooper, so it appears Hasbro is using the same mold for some of this wave. And the good news is, we've heard from quite a few longtime fans of Stalker who are thrilled with this 1982 style. If this is the Stalker you've been waiting for, post a comment down below and let us know. Then next we have a HasLab update. Hasbro has announced that the new G.I. Joe HasLab will be revealed at San Diego Comic-Con this year. During the Yo-Jo June kickoff panel, the Hasbro team dropped several subtle hints that suggest that the Cobra Rattler could be this year's G.I. Joe HasLab. As you're well aware, we've been driving the Cobra Rattler hype train since last summer based on details we've learned along the way. But that said, we could still be wrong. As we've stated before, Hasbro can always pivot to a different project instead, but we don't expect that this time. We even issued a special report detailing why we believe the Rattler will be this year's HasLab. This includes details from secret Hasbro discussions, plans, and focus groups. The Rattler was one of 4 vehicles that focus group participants were asked to consider. The others were the Mauler tank, the Dreadnought Thunder Machine, and the Snowcat. As we detailed in that special report and several other updates over the past 8 months, there's plenty of smoke to support the Rattler being this year's campaign. Others have said that it will be a Dreadnought Thunder Machine or Snowcat, neither of which follow Hasbro's rules for a HasLab campaign, so that would contradict what the Hasbro team has said as recently as May. Some now even believe that an O-ring version of the Cobra Rattler will be this year's HasLab. We can tell you that this will not be the case. This year's G.I. Joe HasLab is not an O-ring product. It's for the G.I. Joe Classified series. Even still, some believe a Cobra Rattler would be too large for Classified. Again, this is not based on facts. As we've said previously, when sized out for the 1/12 scale, the Cobra Rattler would actually be around the same length as the Dragonfly helicopter. In addition, the wings are foldable, and like the Dragonfly, the Rattler would also come with a stand, so keep that in mind. Also, the Hasbro team has previously stated that air vehicles are the easiest to engineer and design. They've also stated that nautical vehicles are not in their current plans, so Hasbro's priority right now is air and land vehicles. The keywords, right now. That can and likely will change at some point in the future, just not right now. In the meantime, we're sticking to our prediction from last summer that this year's campaign will be the Rattler. We can pretty much rule out the Snowcat and Thunder Machine, as both would be a wasted opportunity for a HasLab project. Based on size alone, the Snowcat and Thunder Machine are both realistic options for the retail line. Just like the Vamp and Cobra Stinger, the Dreadnought Thunder Machine and Dreadnought Ground Assault should be joining the line within the next year. Also, Hasbro's repeatedly said that HasLab projects are intended to be dream projects that could never be made for retail. The Snowcat and Thunder Machine are both retail sized for a Hasbro Pulse release, and based on comments Hasbro's team has made in the past, we know that the Cobra Rattler is too large for retail. The only way it gets made at this point is as part of a HasLab campaign, and according to the Hasbro team, they now realize that the O-Ring Sky Striker should not have been a HasLab project, and Emily from the G.I. Joe team even came out and said that they won't do that again. So that right there eliminates an O-Ring Cobra Rattler as a consideration for the HasLab. It's simply not happening through the Hasbro design team's efforts. Again, this year's HasLab campaign will be for the G.I. Joe Classified series. Next, let's give you a channel update. We've been away for a bit, and people out there have been taking wild guesses about what happened. And I've got to say, almost all of them have been completely wrong. So let's give you the real story, since we're the only ones who actually know. For a while now, we've been the favorite target of some internet trolls who apparently get their kicks from spreading lies and making threats. You know, real manly stuff. We're not the first. They've done the same thing to others before us. These are also the same quote-unquote adults who got kicked off of social media for harassment, acted shocked to learn that they can't just say and do whatever they want, and then cried about facing consequences. Classic. But no one cares about that. More recently, these attacks reached a new level of absurdity. This includes a cooked-up story about a blind mother, prank calls, stolen images, and police. Now you've got to be a special kind of stupid to believe any of these obvious lies. The second YouTube intervened and asked for proof, they retracted everything. exposing the malicious intent behind these attacks. But as usual, some people are eager to believe anything they read or hear online when it comes to hating on us. In just one case, we're 27-0 against a clout-chasing nobody without even breaking a sweat. YouTube identified all 27 claims as fraudulent. Just imagine spending your free time making up stories about us just to seek attention. What a fun life that guy must live. Confident in the truth, we just sat back and let YouTube handle all of it, knowing total vindication would be the outcome. And sure enough, after a full investigation and thorough review, YouTube cleared us of all copyright claims and accusations. 100% vindicated. Impressively, we learned that YouTube had already been tracking the situation for some time and recognized it as an orchestrated smear campaign of harassment from other channels. That's right, it wasn't really a secret. Apparently a lot of people had complained to YouTube about it, so they were already on it before we even had to lift a finger. So YouTube was awesome from start to finish. They expedited the process, cleared our name completely, and boom, we were exonerated in next to no time at all. This was nothing but a bunch of false accusations from pathological liars. While this laughable smear campaign was going on, we were living it up in Minnesota for Father's Day weekend, watching baseball games, catching up with friends, great food, shopping, and a fun concert. You know, actually living life. And we had a blast. Meanwhile, some miserable trolls with no lives spent the weekend behind their keyboards spreading hate and lies on the internet. Just let that sink in for a moment. We're out there living life and having fun, while their life's mission has for some reason hilariously become obsessing about us. I assure you all, we're not that interesting, but it says so much about these people and where they're at in life. They live for drama, while we spend most of our time watching or playing baseball. We don't even know they exist, yet we're living in their heads rent-free 24/7. Who's really winning here? Since we launched Viper Island, a lot of channels, forums, and online groups lost significant chunks of their audience and have been bitter ever since. There's really nothing to say about that. It is what it is. And who really cares, right? None of it really means anything anyway. But while our views went up, theirs went down, and they still can't get over it. So don't be fooled by lies. This is the #1 reason they hate on us. It's not complicated. It all comes down to them not liking that people watch and enjoy our content instead of theirs. Instead of obsessing about us, they should really just focus on improving their own content. Now, as everyone knows, we do our own thing. We don't interact with other channels, and that makes us an easy target for jealous mobs who live for drama. The big difference, we talk about G.I.JOE, and they talk about us. As the saying goes, winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. And you want to know something else? On YouTube, we've actually been up and running this entire time. Yeah, we just set all Viper Island videos to private due to the toxic and hostile environment created by self-righteous losers and pathological liars. And boy, did a lot of people ever expose that they don't know what they're talking about, claiming that we were terminated from YouTube, and completely inventing reasons why, as if they had some secret information. Spoiler alert, they don't know anything. We were just taking a break. For the record, Viper Island was never terminated, we've never bought subscribers, and Hasbro's never hit us with copyright strikes for anything related to G.I. Joe or G.I. Joe the movie. Guys, it's really funny how desperate some people are to make up lies about us, all because what? They're sensitive over more people caring about our opinions than theirs. Who cares? I swear, it's straight out of middle school. It's truly the definition of insecure. What it all boils down to is this: even when we're not around, they still can't stop talking about Viper Island. And they proved that over and over and over while we were taking a break. So what does that tell you? Obsessed much? In the end, the truth always wins, and facts still matter. YouTube absolved us completely, and we have a spotless record as usual, despite this decisive series of victories and total vindication. Right now we're in the middle of enjoying our summer break like we do every year, and frankly, it's been a slow news period, so there hasn't been that much to talk about anyway. It's kind of been perfect timing. Ultimately, we're choosing to take the high road here, and we're too busy having a fun summer to care much more than this. Bottom line, Viper Island is back, stronger than ever, with all videos intact and 0 strikes against us. We've got a fun summer planned with baseball, vacation, some beach time, and some exciting opportunities. Stay tuned, we'll tell you more very soon. To those who stuck by us through the nonsense and had our backs, thank you. We know who's with us, and we've all built this Viper Island community together over the past 3 years. We appreciate the Viper Island community and all the support that everyone has shown us. In the meantime, let's all live the good life and enjoy the summer. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. And as always, we want your takes in the comments section. Today's Viper Island question of the day is, what should be this year's G.I. Joe HasLab? Whatever your thoughts are, sound off in the comments. My name is Liam. You can follow me on Instagram at Viper Island. For all things G.I. Joe, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you want to support the show, smash that like button. Until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, have a great day, and yo Joe!